Welcome into the Stanford Cardinal Dynasty, as today we are on the road headed to Boise to face the Broncos in what Coach Barrington and the Cardinal really want to be a massive revenge game. Last season, against this Broncos team, we got embarrassed. They ran all over us and was one of our worst games arguably of the last couple seasons. It ended up ending pretty well though for us, winning the national championship. Now, fast forwarding to present time, the Broncos are 5-1, but they've had an interesting stretch. They picked up the expected wins, and you could even argue a more impressive win, 49-31 over Georgia Tech. But their last three games have left some questions. 24-21, barely sneaking by Wyoming. They then lost to Tulsa 32-28 and barely pulled out the shootout with a fourth quarter comeback against Cal 41-34. And on top of that, they are really banged up, missing their top two running backs, Sal Montez, who destroyed us last year, and Theo Witt, their backup. They also are missing Incognito, their left end, and Kevin Busby, their defensive tackle. So their success is really going to rely on the play of five-star sophomore quarterback Jorge Anelli out of Bothell, Washington. So far this year, he's played a clean game, passing 17 touchdowns, only one interception, 71% complete. And with both of their primary running backs out, he might be their primary rusher today as well, where he has averaged about 4 yards a rush, 4 touchdowns, leading them in that category. Receiving wise, their star receiver coming into this year and captain Afalatulele really hasn't produced, only 15 catches, under 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. They've relied more on the redshirt freshman Bradley Fine and senior Monty Godshaw. Defensively, though, they do make plays, will not overlook them. A lot of plays made in the backfield, both on the ground and through the air. A few interceptions for Clayton Fink. But we're also coming off a monstrous performance where we put up 21 points in the third, in the second, 14 in the first. Gordon Draft threw for 343 yards, 6 touchdowns, 81%, and on top of that, he also ran one in himself. Wesovich did well in his carries. So did Larry Sulai, 8 yards per carry. Not even talking about the day from Virgil Rowland with 6 grabs, 167, 2 touchdowns, 2 more touchdowns for George Ball. And of course, this defense flocked to the ball. A lot of plays made in the backfield. 2 sacks for Cassius Sampson, 1.5 for Henderson, and an interception to boot for Alex Marcotte. If the team can put forth the same effort we saw last game, plus with the chip on the shoulder of the seniors for revenge on last year, this could be a great game, as it's a big boot that Anagbar will take the touch back on. In the rain, the offense will take the field. Both Gordon Draft and Virgil Rowland hoping to crack back into that Heisman race. If they put forth the same effort again as last week, we could see that. Sulai, though, he takes the carry and he trucks through one, then he gets ran through by Gideon Ikonem. Only a gain of 1 for the Cardinal, but big hits dished out there. The 2nd and 9 Draft, he's going to try to step up. He gets back to the line, though they're going to credit Hart with the sack there, despite it still being 3rd and 9. I guess it's about a millimeter or so loss, so good for him. But a 3rd and 9 here for our Cardinal. Bunch right-hand side with early movement, right edge. Nick Granger gives the Cardinal with an easier 3rd down, and he is their All-American. 3rd and 4 hard count this time does not work. Throw in underneath. They're going to find Vallejo, who's got the 1st down up to about the 43. Really, the reason this offense has seen so much success this year is the variety of players that they can get the ball to. A whole lot of talent here for the Stanford Cardinal as they check down to the freshman. Nick Granger is shaken up on the play. Appears to be holding his lower abdomen. Will work his way to the sideline as 2nd and 8 here for the Cardinal with more movement up front and another free 5. This time it's Nevis who's playing a little bit more interior rush here for the Broncos. Bunch left-hand side for Draft. as they look to bring the blitz. It's thrown too far out for Rowland. And that'll leave the Cardinal needing 3 here on 3rd. Looks like Vallejo will be in motion. Gonna fake it to him, and Sulai is contained. Another injury, though, for this Broncos defensive line. We'll see if they're able to bounce back as the defense as a whole makes their way to the sideline. But out comes the offense for the Broncos. Anelli and Latulele. Can they lead this Bronco group? With a lot of misdirection last year. They tried to start with that here, but getting clobbered by Kiki. An absolutely massive hit on Splittler. And a pass right down the seam for Fine. Tyrone Heggie slips off of him. Cardinal give up a 2-play touchdown drive as the young receiver in Fine makes the play for the Broncos. They claim an early lead here in Boise. That is exactly why coaches preach wrapping up, especially during rain games. At the 25, Cardinal offense start their second drive. Gain of 4 here for Sulai, leaving him with negative yards, though, especially with how that last drive came to an end. They look his way on the screen. He angles outside, pushed out at the 40. But he's a player that the Cardinal love to use in multiple facets of the game. They'll look his way for the 3rd straight play, and he's got 3 more. But he's a guy who just doesn't like to leave the field much at all. Still out here after 3 straight plays as they will look to go through the air here. Gordon Draft will step up, but just back to the line. Malik Alabi contains Draft, and it's 3rd and 7 again for the Stanford Cardinal, facing a lot of 3rd downs here, but more movement up front. Nevis had a penalty the first drive. He has a second one here. Cardinal going to try to take advantage with a 3rd and 2. As they go, Larry Sulai with good blocking. Easy first down for the Stanford Cardinal that they will look to go hurry up on. Trips to the left-hand side. Tighter coverage to the left than to the right, with safety help over the top. Though leaving one-on-one, it's for Bargava. Tipped away in one-on-one. And Rick Regas is shaken up on the play, starting right guard. Though a couple injuries across the board, Pete Morton will step in then at right guard. 2 spread either side, Bargava in motion. Gonna fake it to him. It's Larry Sulai right down the gut. He's picking up 8. For the second time this drive, it's 3rd and 2 for the Stanford Cardinal. Draft, he's making some changes up there. With a hard count, this time it won't be a free 5. Sulai, though, will pick up the first down. That time running behind Morton. We do have word will be out there the remainder of this game. Virgil Rowland had a step, but Gordon Draft just sent a gift to the safety. He's got to feel mighty lucky that that one was not picked off, assuming the rain caused that ball to slip out, but he had Virgil Rowland for a touchdown. Now he's looking for Gomez, and he puts it in a good spot. Whatever the error was on that previous throw, corrected it as they're inside the red zone. Hard count, nobody jumps. Thrown underneath, they've got Bargava, who takes a pop down at the 8. Cardinal with a 2nd and 1. And it's Draft's favorite formation. Trying to follow behind all those blockers. Keeps those legs chugging, and he will cross that goal line. Touchdown, Gordon Draft. Determination to finish that drive after he just got so lucky he didn't throw the pick to that safety. But it is 7-7 up here in Boise. Cardinal tie the game. Now Coach Bearington just has to see a much more polished drive here from his defense. Anelli with a touchdown toss to Fine last time. They'll start through the air. Under pressure and just getting rid of it. Running back in the area. The good news for the Broncos is Splinter is a senior, so despite all the injuries, they do have some promise still at that running back spot. Good tackle on the outside, this time from Tyrone Heggie. And it forces a 3rd and 1. As it looks like the defense is trying to come up with a different look here. Coming down into the double A gap look. Tight end will motion over. As it is read option, well contained. Paschal and Cassius Sampson forcing the punt. Whether that call came from Coach Barrington or one of the many senior linebackers. Excellent check At the 37, the offense take the field, trying to find a lead here. As Sulai angles outside, nowhere to go. Nick Granger is shaken up here, going to get help up, make his way to the sideline. This Bronco front getting a bit banged up here early on. It's a gain of 1 on first down, leaves 2nd and 9. As they throw out to Rowland, he's got the first down to the 48. Cardinal, they're going to go hurry up here to see if they can catch the Broncos in a different look. Off coverage, 2 high safeties. Play action here for Draft as he will look outside, finding Rowland, but he couldn't squeeze it. DB for the Broncos able to break that one up, forcing the 2nd and 10. Back to Larry Sulai, who will pick up a hard-earned 7. But it will take us to the break. First quarter has come to a close, and we are tied up here 7-7. Can't really say that the Cardinal are getting revenge, but -1 rushing yards for the Broncos is a key stat of that first quarter. What could also be key is stops here on 3rd down, 3rd and 3 to start the second. And it's going to be Larry Sulai fighting through the tackle, dragging the edge, and he got the first down. And he picks up the first down to the 35. Hard count, more movement up front, this time coming from the left side. I believe that is Hart, the man who had the sack on the Cardinal first drive. 1st and 5 then at the 30 with press coverage left-hand side. Rowland, he speeds by it, but safety help over the top opens the door for Vallejo underneath. Cardinal back inside the red zone. Vallejo down at the 15 with motion left-hand side, going to be Virgil Rowland. Draft going to flip those hips, try to get outside, and he doesn't get the ball out. Will be sacked for a loss of 12. Bryce Nevis. And that's something he really needed to find with 2 penalties already on the day. Helps out that average for the loss. As Gordon Draft is looking to scramble here on second, he picks up about 5. That does still leave the Cardinal behind the chains. 3rd and 16 back at the 21. Same look though, flipped. And under pressure, it's going to be a sack. The right end goes untouched. Casey Herman. Of course, the Cardinal missing one of their starting offensive linemen, though on the opposite side of the line. It'll be Ritter here for the lead. Cardinal with the field goal. Make this a 10-7 ball game. Well, I'm sure they'll take the lead. They would have liked a touchdown. Broncos, they'll have a chance to take the lead back with a touchdown, but they've got to get by Brian Paschal. Back-to-back plays made in the backfield. He ended their previous drive. That time he stops them just behind the line with 2nd and 10.2. They'll go with the jet sweep, looking for the cutback. Cassius Sampson is there, but pushes him forward. They'll pick up about 3. Though still with technically a long 3rd down here, 7 yards. They will look to pass the ball, flooding one side, and Tyrone Heggie should have had the pick. We will take the punt. And a pretty good starting position as well at the 48+ side. 2 spread either side here. Gordon Draft looks for a play action roll, throwing, tipped, and then picked off. Just unfortunate, and a bad angle there from Draft. Vallejo will get the tackle. Boise State ball at the opposite 29. Looking for Bargava. And every time Gordon Draft throws that pick, he always looks at that wrist. It's not the wrist. It was just an unlucky play. Ball got tipped straight to the teammate. Now the Broncos with a better chance of taking the lead here as it's play action and off the helmet of Kiki. A little bit of luck though for the Cardinal on that. If that ball is smidgen higher, might have been a touchdown on the wheel route. Instead, 3rd and 4 following the gain of 6. We'll have to see if they can convert this down though to keep a touchdown hope alive. Kiki with the pressure, though bailing to the outside, and it will be a touchdown. Anelli with no one left outside. They flooded one side of the field. It's the cutback game that killed us last year against Boise State. They hit us on another one as the QB gets to the outside. The Cardinal have just over 4 minutes to find themselves back in front here before we reach halftime. Starting with a bunch right-hand side, the single high safety. And Draft, he's going to step up here with space opening up. Won't be as big of a play as Anelli's, But first down for the Stanford Cardinal up to the 30. As they'll continue looking for those crossing routes. Cross the middle, Virgil Rowland holds on. His second grab of the day, only 25 yards though. Missed the opportunity on the deep ball to him earlier. The 1st and 10. Coming across, another drag. They find Vallejo, who spins off the tackle. Gonna pick up an extra 5. Cardinal moving down the field with those intermediate crossing routes. And we'll stick with 2 spread. Thrash checks in right-hand side for the Cardinal. Doesn't see that much playing time. As Draft is going to roll out here. Eventually, he finds a lane to scramble for the first, but he's not looking all too healthy out there. He looked to be a little bit shaken up. Hopefully, that's nothing to worry about, and we'll have the 2-minute warning here shortly to catch his breath. As he finds Vallejo turning down the sideline, diving, but pushed out about a yard short of the goal line. Oh, so close. But they will have the 2-minute break to find their play here from just inside the 1. It's a heavy set, all tight ends and the fullback. Sulai, he takes the carry. He'll cut into the end zone. Cardinal answer the Broncos touchdown with one of their own, taking the lead back with about 1:58 to go in the first half. They just need a little bit more consistency from their defense. Starting back at the 25 here, Anelli with a pass rush coming in. He finds the check down tight end across the middle. That was a key part to their success last year, was being able to beat the Stanford blitz. Cassius Sampson gets the pressure, but he does not contain. Anelli scrambles, takes the hit, and eventually falls down with a hit of Ty Hawley. But a first down gain, and a hurry up here, keeping those timeouts in their back pocket. Trips to the left-hand side. Sampson again trying to get back there, but it's going to be every single defensive lineman getting a hand on him to finally bring him down. First timeout is called. It's 2nd and 14 as they keep trips to the left-hand side. Sampson a little froze out there, then falls down. Not sure what happened. A good cut, though, from Splinter to get close to the line to gain. Ty Hawley just left with ankles broken. It's 3rd and 1. And a throw downfield that's going to be picked off by Kevin Salmon. It's a Salmon run to the right sideline. He gets a stiff arm to polish off the play. Cardinal take over plus side with 3 timeouts, 1:09 till halftime. And the student section showed up. They had to add an extra set of bleachers to fill. That's what we like to see here, the Cardinal traveling well. As it is Sulai down the middle, whistle taking its time. The ref finally blows it, a gain of 5, and Wesovich will check in here. Off coverage, safety help over the top, as it's going to be a play action roll. Checking down to the tight end here, Kramer, who gets bopped around a little bit, and will be 3rd and 1 after the timeout. Cardinal need to pick up at least 1, and it will be Joe Wesovich in the backfield. Draft hands it off to him. Safety comes down but cannot make the stop. Cardinal called their second to last timeout. Now they got to look closer to the end zone as they are inside field goal range. Under pressure, and that ball goes off of Vaughn's face. Draft does end up taking another hit on the play, as it's been good play from the Broncos secondary today, and good pass rush as well. Draft, he's going to look to step up here, fighting forward for that first down, but it looks like Joe Wesovich tried to help out a little bit too much, so erase the first down. It's 2nd and 7. He's still out there rather than Larry Sulai, who is on the sideline right now. As it's up for Rowland, tipped away, 3rd and 7. Good coverage still here from the Broncos. Cardinal inside field goal range here to extend their lead before the break. Hard count, no one jumps. No one quite able to get downfield, and just getting rid of it to keep them in field goal range goes Gordon Draft. It'll be left hash for Ritter. In the rain, Noise. And he hit this one true. Yes, he can. Cardinal with now a 6-point lead as we head to the break. Not the look they were wanting in the first half. 22-14, the Cardinal, though, are still on top but they outscored themselves in 2 of 4 quarters last week. The Broncos have proved to be a tough test for this Cardinal team, as number 3 goes up against number 22. Anelli has been really good for the Broncos. He's avoided a lot of pass rush, made big plays on it, including his touchdown scamper. He's also avoided sacks, finding receivers on quick hitters. Their freshman receiver, Fine, scored first in this game, giving the Broncos an early lead. Cardinal did bounce back and have said taken that lead. Larry Sulai, though, his time out there is questionable. Reports from the sideline indicate both he and Gordon Draft are a bit banged up, but it'll be Anelli and the Broncos offense out there first, as they go with a run that James Tuttle reads like a book. However, he appears like he might be joining that injury list as well. Hopefully that is no big injury. He's waited long enough to be one of the starting linebackers here for the Stanford Cardinal. Waddle will check in here on the 4-4 defense. Pass across the middle is caught by Fine. And the good news for the Stanford Cardinal is Tuttle is back out there, though it looks like he has some extra tape on his forearm. So whatever that injury is, hopefully that tape will help out as the Cardinal pick up the stop. Fine with a short grab. And arguably an even shorter punt here for the Broncos as we start at the 47, not quite plus side. With off coverage, safety help over the top. Rolling and throwing short for either Kramer or Gomez. Either way, it didn't seem like that ball was going to get anywhere close to its target. Joe Wesovich still the running back out there. As they go his way, he will pick up 4. What seems to be quite clear is the Cardinals are a bit banged up. Quarterback, running back, some of their guys on defense. See how much that affects the rest of this game. As it is Ben Vallejo with the first down. He's all the way down to about the 32. Just consistently seems to be a player that defenses forget to cover, as the Cardinals have a fresh set here. As they will look to throw, or under pressure, Draft gets smacked around and he is still down. Gonna take his time to get on up, and it looks like Coach Bearington will pull him. He's taken a lot of hits out there today. Justin Sorensen will step in. He's seen quite a bit of playing time. Gonna need a good game to finish off as they go Joe Wesovich on the screen. He's gonna pick up about half the yards needed, but it does still leave the Cardinal needing an additional 6 here on third, or have to settle for another field goal opportunity. Virgil Rowland in motion. Good coverage on him. And again, having to step up, but nowhere to go. The coverage downfield is locked tight. It's a sack and a 4th and 11. Ritter out here for yet another field goal. And this one leans and stays to the left. No good. This stays a 6-point game here in Boise, with QB1 now potentially out of the game. It was one of Draft's main things coming back for his redshirt senior year, was to prove that he could stay healthy, because he got a bit banged up last year on their way to the Natty. That hasn't quite been the case. It's also been a rough year for him statistically. Big hit, though, from James Tuttle. Bittler, he picks up 7. And speaking of guys who've been shaken up, Tuttle, he got a bit banged around earlier. Hopefully he's able to fight through. As mentioned, looks like that forearm is taped up to help provide some sturdiness. But run to the outside opens up. Really bad angles here is going to open up an additional probably 20 yards on that play. You just played how you're supposed to. Look at the hips, don't look at the head. You should have been able to see where Spittler was going. Number 3 running back here for Boise, he breaks off a big run. A little bit of some window dressing with the wide receiver motion, gain of 2. For Boise, all they need is that touchdown and point after, and they retake the lead here inside the red zone with more motion. Jet sweep, looking for that cutback lane, though only going to pick up an additional 2. It's Monty Godshaw with the carry. Going to be in tight here with the trips to the right-hand side. And trying to get to the outside, Cassius Sampson contains. Only the 2nd sack for the Stanford Cardinal today. But for Cassius Sampson, it's his 10th of the season. As a full-time starter, he's had at least double digits every single year. 4th and 14. The field goal is good. Back to a 3-point game. And for the Cardinal, it does appear that Sorensen will be the QB1 for the remainder of this game. Starting back at the 19, it's Bargava on the jet little toss. Picks up a big block there from Vallejo, and he scampers for the first. Not a player we typically see get designed plays, but perhaps that's why they went with it. A different fold here for the offense. As it's a check down, Wesovich, he gets the grab, gain of 9. Of course, he also filling in for Larry Sulai, who we haven't seen since the first half. Final 2 minutes here of the third quarter are underway. As Sorensen will get dropped, he loses to Casey Herman. He's picked up several sacks today, and it leaves the Cardinal with a 3rd and 3. Make that a first down as now Herman jumps early. Good hard count from Sorensen. The biggest thing right now for the freshman quarterback is to settle this game down. As we're inside a minute and a half left here in the third, it's Wesovich, right-hand side. He's going to pick up a gain of 6. For the most part, the Cardinal have been very pass-heavy. They might have to change that up to finish out this game. As Jewell checks in, he's got a burst of speed for the running backs here of the Stanford Cardinal. And his first carry is a first down, though he only gets 1. Wesovich checks back in with a 2-receiver spread. Rolling right-hand side now, looking downfield. Finding ball down at the 19. A little sidearm action there from Justin Sorensen, and it's a good way to bring the end to the third quarter. We head to the final quarter, trying to make sure we stay in the top 3, if not climb. To do that, we've got to put these Broncos away, find a 2-score lead. As it's Wesovich, left-hand side, finds a gap and picks up 5. The Cardinal definitely going a bit more run-heavy with Justin Sorensen out there. In motion was Ball. Looking across the middle, they're going to find Gomez in the soft gap. And now an injury up front again here for the Broncos defense. And with how the Cardinal have tried to attack them in the second half, that could prove to be pretty costly. It's a weak pistol eye. As Babineau takes the carry, he shakes one and picks up a few. As the Cardinal inside the 4 with 2 spread. Sorensen, he's looking for the touchdown and throws up a questionable ball that could have been picked off by one of the multiple linemen for both sides of the ball. Risky. 3rd and 10. Sorensen checking his options out here as they come out with the same look. Hard count, gets a man to jump early. They don't throw the flag, and Vallejo can't hold on. Ritter will have to come back out with a tight angle here, and it's going to be a fake. Sorensen, he's going to the outside here, trying to pick up a block. He fumbles looking for the edge. He wouldn't have made it either way. Nick Granger shaken up, and this is a 3-point game. A field goal could easily tie this one. I guess you just have to say a field goal wouldn't have given you a safe lead, as Spittler has a fantastic play there to avoid lost yardage. He ends up gaining a yard on the play. 2nd and 9. Shotgun here with motion. As they go back his way, the defense is on him this time. They will lose 3, back at the 3. With a 3rd and 12, we're going to see the wing T here for the Broncos. Going with a fullback toss that does not quite get dropped in the end zone. But 4th and 14 at about the inch line. Cardinal look like they might look to bring some heat here. No one gets back there. The punt is out. We'll be at least at midfield. Anagbar with a spin. He gets to the outside. Tries a little shimmy. But starting at the 32 will be the Cardinal offense, as I'm sure Coach Bearington is going to look to start trying to chew some clock. They have not had the success offensively today, whether that's just been the conditions, a lot of players getting banged up, a lot of key players getting banged up. Whatever the case may be, I'm sure he wants to put this game to bed and continue picking up these wins. As Sorensen, he tries to escape. He had ball wide open right side, but he didn't see him. Granger will get credit for the sack, and it is 3rd and 12 here. At this point, you definitely would take the field goal if inside range. Hard count again. Early jump, but no one does call it. Sorensen, he escapes one. Gets close to the line to gain, but is down 2 yards short. But the offense stays on the field. 4th and 2. Hard count, Sorensen gets the first down. Drehart jumps off sides for the second time today. Cardinal inside the 20 with a fresh set of downs. Bargava in motion. He's going to take another quick little flip. Good contain. Herman has played a fantastic game. The entire Broncos team has. As Wesovich motions out, pressure builds, and it's Herman plus Nevis. I don't know the last game that this offensive line has looked this bad, but 3rd and 14. Play clock down to 1, finally snapping that ball. They look for the halfback screen. Getting a nice juke, though, not going to find the first down. It's 4th and 6. And the Cardinal will let the clock roll inside the 2-minute break. Ritter this time for a 6-point lead. Missed his last one. Sneaks it in the right upright. It will be 6 points, a touchdown, and an extra point for Boise. They've really got to thank their defense, who have kept them in this game. Of course, the Cardinal just coming off a 7-touchdown game. Hasn't been anywhere close to that today, as that pass wasn't close. The Broncos do have 3 timeouts, though, so they don't have to panic. As running back Spittler, he's left wide open, getting the first down and out of bounds. Cardinal can't afford to give him free plays like that. As it's 1st and 10, they throw across the middle, chopped down by Kiki. Timeout is called. Broncos already approaching midfield here with 1:40 to go. And blocked by Salmon's back. They tried to set up the dig, almost a legal pick play, really. Leaves 3rd and inches. And here comes the rush, and it will be a sack. The DTs combine to force a 4th and potentially game with 1:25 and counting. If they convert, this game goes on. If they don't, which they won't, the Stanford Cardinal will win. It is not the game we were looking for, only putting up 23 points. But where the team struggled last year, we vastly improved. But we got extremely banged up in this game. Gordon Draft, Larry Sulai, James Tuttle. We also lost Ragas for what might be the rest of the season. We'll have to check in on all of these injuries. But we keep the win streak alive, and we take down 22 Boise State. Get a little bit of revenge on our side. They've earned our respect. And indeed, it is not good for Rick Ragas. He broke his tailbone in this game, so his season's done. It might also perhaps affect what he's able to grow in the offseason, and maybe even into the start of next year, he might still be having some injuries here with that broken tailbone. I mean, that's a hard fall for a big fella. Now, as for the others, their injuries were not as long-term, but it definitely affected him. Gordon Draft, he could barely do anything in that game, and he finally just took too big of a hit. But with the bye week, he looks to be good. Larry Sulai, who technically didn't even get injured in that game, he was just held out the entire second half. He also appears to be good. And James Tuttle, who fought through his injury, taping up that forearm, he appears to be good heading into our next game. And this one was supposed to be our final regular season ranked game, but Oregon hasn't had as good of a season. In fact, they've lost their last 2 games, 24-17 against USC and 38-34 against Bowling Green. So they have dropped out of the top 25. Cardinal, we are still at 3. We also stand atop of the Pac-12. As it stands right now, the only undefeated team remaining are, in conference at least, the Washington Huskies. The one year that we weren't scheduled to go play them in Seattle, they have risen. They're back ranked top 10 at number 6. Boise State, they're at 13. USC's at 10. Arizona State is at 18. So the Pac-12 does have quite a few top 25 teams. And if we play like we did today, perhaps Oregon might be again. We need to play far more consistently to round out the rest of our regular season before we hit the postseason. Make sure you stick around to see how we are able to do that if we are able to do that. Hit that bell icon in the bottom right or scroll down, hit that sub button and tap that bell icon so you're notified of when these videos go live. This series every single Monday and Friday. We got Cha-Cha Vaz on his road to the show every single Tuesday and Thursday. Doubleheaders with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We had a really big set of games this week on Wednesday. If you didn't check it out, make sure you do. We wrap out the regular season next week. And depending on how that goes, perhaps we might be skipping the first round of the playoffs. So make sure you are there. Make sure you are here as we've got the Oregon Ducks up next. The game of the week as we look to make our winning streak 9.